So, welcome to everybody riding today via Facebook. So, as you guys can see on the countdown timer, so welcome to everyone on Facebook. You can see beside me the countdown timer. We plan on starting our workout today in about 4.5 minutes. So, you guys can get everything dialed in terms of getting your trainer set up, or if you guys are going to be loading the workout files for our session today. It's called Power Watts Home Workout 21 Strength and Spin. So you can get the Zwift file or the Trainer Road file lined up if you guys are going to be riding on Zwift or Trainer Road. And we have lots of riders today on the Power Watts at Home app who, all of you guys, it's automatically going to start in about 4 minutes. So if any of you guys have some issues with the start of the workout, just let me know, because then I can hopefully tweak it for you. And we have Miss Piggy. Hi, Miss Piggy. I can't unmute you for some reason. How are you, Miss Piggy and Professor? I'm doing great. So glad to have you guys back. Did you have a good week going to school, Miss Piggy? Oh, well, fantastic. So I'm glad you had a good time. Nobody coughed on you, I hope, right? Okay, perfect. All right, guys. So we're going to be starting in about 3 minutes. We have another member joining in. So Sting just joined in, so we'll give her a moment to get connected. And so, Martin, I can see you. The camera's well aligned. I can see you're pedaling. And so, Martin, do you see any stats in the gauge? So it's reading 0 at the moment. So you'll just have to connect. So don't press on the top right. Actually, press on the top left. On the top left, there's a button that looks like a Wi-Fi signal, and that's the one that you're going to want to click. And then you'll see a list of different Bluetooth connections, and you could choose your kicker. Yeah, absolutely. Ah, now I can see your data. All right. So, Martin, there's no hiding today. I could see all your stats on my screen. And one other thing you guys could do, just beside where you click the connect button, that's where you can set your FTP value. So, Martin, I'm not sure what your FTP value is, but you could just type it in there. Uh, okay, perfect. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He looks like a cyclist, Cyril. I definitely agree. 400 watts is the way to go. All right, so great. So Neil and Martin, so glad you guys got set up. And let's hope that bike doesn't go flying off your trainer today. Okay, perfect. And I'm glad you got the signal, you got the power. And Mean Gene, are you connected to the app? And just start pedaling. Okay, perfect. Because I lost your signal for a sec, but I think it's just because you stopped pedaling. All right, guys. So everybody at home on Facebook, we are going to be starting in about 40 seconds time, so you guys can time your start of the workout. We're just starting with an easy segment, 5 minutes at 50%, during which I'll describe the workout a little bit to you guys, but just so that you can time the start. All right. And I like this triple angle view of Big Nick J Train. They got 3 cameras going, so I can see them from every angle. So there's going to be no hiding today, guys. So we're starting in 10 seconds. So Sting's about to get on the bike as well. So everybody at home, let's start pedaling and let's get going. 5 minutes at 50% watts to start us off here. All right, so fantastic, guys. And Sting, how are you doing today? Wonderful. I'm so glad you joined in, Sting. I'm so glad that you stole the computer from your kids, or maybe you took it back from them so that you're able to do your ride. Oh, so yeah, okay. You woke them up so you could take the computer, and then did you give them any chores to do? Okay, it's coming. All right, guys, so great. So we got everybody connected up. And JF, how are you doing today? Oh, you guys are still doing a lot of yard work, taking advantage of the sunny days. Oh, well, amazing. So I'm glad to hear you're doing that. I'm guessing you'll probably be doing some yard work after this also. Oh, fantastic. Then maybe you guys can go for a bike ride or a run or something. Yeah. All right, guys. So great stuff. So thanks to everybody for joining in here. So what we got going on right now is 5 minutes at 50% watts. And then for the remainder of our warm-up here today, after we do the 5 minutes at 50%, we're going to be going up to 60% for the next minute. So you guys could see that right above my head, or those of you guys using the app, you could see it written in yellow just to the right of the timer. We're going to go to 60% and 105 RPM. So we're going to get the RPM up. But then for the rest of the warm-up, each minute we're going to be going up by 8% watts. So that's going to bring us from 60% all the way to 92% watts by the end of the warm-up. And we're going to be progressively decreasing the RPM. So the next minute we're going to go up to 105, but then after that, every minute we're going to go down by 10. So the RPMs are going to be 105, 95, 85, 75, and 65. So we're going to be building you guys down on the cadence to increase muscle recruitment, increase strength development in doing that. And that's going to prepare us for the first drill of the day. So the first drill of the day is a 10-minute progressive power output drill. So we're going to be starting off at around 80% watts, 82% watts in fact, and we're going to increase by 2% every minute. So this is a great stimulus for endurance development, but we're also going to make it specific to the demands of a longer climb, because that whole 10 minutes, we're going to ask you guys to keep your cadence between 50 and 80 RPM. So you could say aim for around 65 RPM or so all the way. So that 10-minute drill is all going to be about strength development. I'm going to encourage you guys to stay sitting as much as possible. But if you guys got to stand up for a moment just to change the load on the legs or change your position on the bike, no problem. But we're really trying to develop strength in the legs, fatigue resistance in the legs as we progressively build up the power. Then a little bit later in the workout, we're going to do another 10-minute drill. And also again for the 10 minutes, you guys are going to stay between 50 and 80 on the RPM. So strength development. However, the second time we do it, instead of going up by 2% every minute, what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 minute at 75% watts and 1 minute at 105% watts. So that's called an over-under strategy. Both strategies, the first one where we're starting at 82% and building up, and the second one where we're alternating 75 and 105, they're both going to average out to about 90% watts for the 10 minutes. And you guys can contrast the feeling of effort using the progressive strategy versus using the over-under strategy. Oftentimes, riders are counseled to ride in a steady fashion or a progressive fashion, and that is a great technique for many riders out there. But some of you guys, especially more anaerobically oriented riders, might find it a little bit easier to alternate a slightly higher power and a slightly lower power during these long climbing simulation drills. So I'll ask each of you your experience during those efforts, and that'll help us get to know a little bit better about your underlying strengths. All right, guys, so now we're going to go to 60% watts. 105 on the RPM. So take a quick peek at your cadence, and let's bring those cadences up to around 105. So JF and Brenda just pedal at an RPM that's a little bit higher than your RPM comfort zone. All right, so keep it up, guys. So we got Big Nick, great work on the cadence. So now just settle in on the power. Practice using the gears to get to the RPM. So we got Cyril, got the power and the cadence. Mean Gene, well done on the cadence. All right. And we got Martin, good power, good cadence. Martin, way to be. I got you at 107, 108 average RPM here. J-Train, great work on the cadence. 110 on the RPM. Sting over 100 RPM. I got you 105 on average. So excellent work, guys. So now we're going to increase the power and decrease the cadence to 95. So you'll have to go one gear, maybe two gears harder to increase the power and decrease the cadence at the same time. And so JF and Brenda, I know you guys don't have the cadence sensor on there, so you still want to feel like you're pedaling a little bit faster than usual, given what your RPM comfort zones are. Same thing for you, Trophy Wife. You want to feel like you're pedaling a little bit faster than normal. And everybody else, everybody on the app, I could see you got the power in the green, you got the cadence in the green. So well done, guys. Okay, so every minute now, we're going to be going up by 8%. So in about 15 seconds, we're going to be going from 68% to 76%. And we're going to go down another 10 RPM. So typically when you go up by 8%, if you don't change gears, your RPM goes up by 3 or 4 RPM. But we want to decrease it by 10. So you're going to have to go maybe another 2 gears harder, maybe 3 gears harder here. Interestingly, for those of you guys that like to think a little bit about speed, when we increase the power output by about 8%, assuming you're riding on a flat road with relatively neutral wind conditions, 8% watts usually increases your speed by about 1 kilometer per hour. And if you stay in the same gear, if you go up by 1 kilometer an hour, your RPMs will usually increase by 3 to 4 RPM. So that's something we're going to be looking at a little bit later today. We're not going to be focused on the speed piece of it, but we are going to be focused on increasing your cadence to increase your power. Because right now we're going into harder gears to increase your power, but we have one drill, I'll tell you about it maybe after the warm-up, where we're going to be increasing your cadence to increase your power. So let's go up to 84% now, 75 on the RPM. So RPMs are getting pretty low. And the reason we're doing that is to complement all the lower cadence work that we're going to be doing, those simulated climbs that we're going to be doing where it's 10 minutes at around, say, 60, 65 RPM. In between those two climbs, we're going to be doing some high cadence work where you're going to do short surges by increasing your RPM. And that's a great technique to learn what's called to pedal through the gears or to apply a more even force throughout the range of motion of your pedal stroke. So that's the drill that we're going to be doing in between the two 10-minute climbs. And then the final drill of the day that you guys see, the final drill that you guys see over here, that one is going to combine the two elements of the workout where you're going to be doing 1 rep at high cadence, 1 rep at low cadence. All right, guys, so here we are, last minute of the warm-up, 92%, 65 on the RPM. So make sure you guys are up in the big ring. If anyone's in the small ring, still put it up into the big ring. And, you know, look to hit 65 RPM or maybe even a little bit less. You want to be pedaling at a slightly slower than normal RPM as you guys are working strength development. During that 10-minute exercise, I'll go over a whole bunch of different techniques and tricks that you could do to improve your lower RPM pedaling. Good, so that's looking good, Trophy Wife. Good work, Jeff and Brenda. Brenda, maybe 1 gear harder even. So Big Nick, that's good. Cyril, well done on the cadence. So Mean Gene, that's looking good. Martin, that's looking good. Nice upper body control, Martin, even at the low cadence. That's fantastic. J-Train working the low cadence. Sting working the low cadence. So a great start to the workout here, guys. Definitely a different style warm-up. Often we increase the RPM during the warm-up, and here we are decreasing it. All right, so 2 minutes of recovery. So well done, guys. And so, Martin, how's everything going over there? You're able to follow along? Oh, okay. Neil's just trying to make it more challenging for you, you know, anything to increase the demands. Good. So, way to be, Martin. Very nice. And great work on your power and on your cadence thus far. All right, guys. So, little break here before we hit our first exercise. So, just a brief reminder, it's 10 minutes of continuous effort. We're going to be starting at 82% watts at about 65 RPM. We have a big window of plus or minus 15 RPM, so you can go as low as 50 or as high as 80, but we want it to be a climbing cadence. And every minute we're going to be going up by 2% on the power. So 82, 84, 86, all the way to 100%. So Big Nick, how's it going for you over there? It's the first time using the app. Let me open your other one. So say that again, Big Nick. And yeah, I can hear you. It's good. You don't need to change anything. And your 4i power meter is getting the job done for you. Amazing. Big Nick specifically ordered a 4i power meter just to be able to use the Power Watts at Home app. So thanks for that, Big Nick, and it's a pleasure to have you participating via the app. Okay, guys, so we're going to be starting in 10 seconds. So let's go to 82% watts, and for the whole 10 minutes, around 65 RPM, plus or minus, say, 10 to 15 on the RPM. So, okay, so here we go, guys. So what we're trying to do with this 10-minute effort, we're trying to do a couple things. First thing, we're trying to develop endurance. So this is a great general endurance development power output where we're at 82%, so it definitely doesn't feel like recovery, but it's not at over 100% watts, so you guys don't feel like you're riding at your limit. So it's a really great power output to develop that longer term endurance. The other thing that we're trying to do with this exercise is improve what's called your pedal stroke feel. Every minute, you guys got to go up by 2%. So that's just a subtle increase in foot pressure or a subtle increase in cadence. We practiced this a couple weeks ago in another workout. We have a question. Miss Piggy, what's your question? Unfortunately, I can't unmute you. Yeah, absolutely. You can stand up, but do your best to sit as much as you can. All right, so let's go to 84% now, guys. So Miss Piggy asked if standing is part of this, and absolutely, you guys can stand up. I would encourage you guys to stay sitting as much as you can, but if at some point, if you need to stand up to change the position on your back or just to switch your position on the saddle, absolutely go ahead and stand up for a bit and then try to sit back down. So this idea of increasing by 2% every minute is to help improve your pedal stroke feel, so developing that awareness of how much additional force or how much additional cadence it takes to build up your power. And we're doing it in a real interesting part of the power curve here. We're starting at 82%, which is considered an aerobic power, and we're finishing at 100%, which is considered a threshold power. So as we go from aerobic to threshold, when we get to around 92% watts, that's when you guys start to drain your batteries. So let's go to 86%, still low on the cadence. So that's when you guys start to drain your batteries. You might remember when we do these workouts in studio, often your battery appears on screen. Understanding and feeling the subtle difference between riding when your battery is not draining compared to when your battery is draining is a very important skill if you want to improve your abilities on these long climbs. Some riders start a long climb way too hard, drain their battery, and then struggle in the later stages of the long climb. So this is to help you guys learn that awareness of these different power outputs. So let's keep it up here, guys. We're still at relatively low cadence. We'll say anything under 80 is good to go, but you want to be challenging yourself to be a slightly lower than usual. Okay, so now let's go to, well, in just a moment, we're going to go to 88%, so another 2% increase. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So we are developing your endurance. We're developing your awareness between aerobic power, threshold power. We're also trying to develop your general leg strength. So when we're doing drills based on leg strength, we have lower cadence all the way. But other things that you guys could do is learn how to access different muscles when you guys are riding. If you're always stuck at 65 RPM, it doesn't mean you always have to use the same specific muscle group or the same specific area of, say, your quads to generate the power. You could do small little things like sliding forward on the saddle or sliding back on the saddle to change the pressure that you feel in the legs. So if you guys slide back on the saddle, one of the tricks is you slide back a little bit. You can drop the heel down a little bit, and you can emphasize pushing a bit more forward and down on the pedals. So let's go to 90% now. If you guys choose to slide forward on the saddle, try to let your body weight fall into the pedals as you push down and sweep through the bottom of the pedal stroke. So the back of the saddle allows you to really pedal with strength because you get a good full extension of the leg and you're pushing forward and down. When you're on the front of the saddle, you let your body weight and the strength of your legs push down into the pedals to generate that power, and you generate the power from a different part of the pedal stroke. So those are two bigger changes that you could do. Some more subtle changes that you guys can try that I personally find very effective. A lot of riders have found this very helpful. It's more subtle. So right now, if you feel the pressure more towards the inside part of your foot, you could just transfer the pressure a little bit to the outside part of your foot. When you're pushing from the inside part of the foot, oftentimes you'll feel more the middle part of your thigh working. If you put the pressure to the outside of the foot, it'll be a little bit more the outside of the thigh. Okay, guys, so let's go to 92% watts. So a couple little tricks. You got front of the saddle, you got back of the saddle, you got pressure on the inside of the foot, you got pressure on the outside of the foot. You could think about pushing forward and down on the pedals, or you could think about pushing down and back on the pedals. And a lot of the best riders in the world, they're not always pushing on the pedals in the exact same way. You know, every, 30 seconds, every few pedal strokes, especially when they're in big trouble, they're changing the way that they apply force to the pedals to cycle through all their different muscles in order to generate this power output. So these are all tactics that you guys could try. So now we're at 92%, and we're about to go up to 94%. When we get to 94%, guys, we're starting to really subtly drain your batteries. So there might be a slight change in feel of perceived effort here at 94%. All right, so here we go, guys. 94%. Let's keep that cadence nice and low. The numbers I'm seeing on the coaching screen back here are looking good. So J-Train, how you doing so far? Okay. Just general fatigue or pain? Okay, general fatigue. Perfect. So keep working through that fatigue. If this starts to hurt your knees, for example, then you'll just want to go into an easier gear to take a bit of pressure off the joint. And Big Nick, how are you doing so far? Yeah, absolutely. Nothing wrong with standing up for a bit. Good work, Big Nick. Definitely taking advantage of all the strength you have at a lower cadence drill like this. Okay, so let's keep it up. In 10 seconds, we're going to be going to 96%. Martin, how are you doing so far? Good. Excellent. You're doing a great work. Great work on the power and on the cadence. Okay, so let's keep going here. So keep that up. Martin, so Cyril, how are you doing so far? Yeah, especially if you can't, maybe there might be some way on your trainer to simulate being on an uphill to add a little bit more resistance on there. But if anyone's in Cyril's situation, sometimes on an indoor trainer, there might not be enough resistance. If you can't get your RPMs really low, especially as the power goes higher, that's okay. Just keep focusing on the power as we go. All right, so now we're about to go to 98%. So we're in the final 2 minutes, guys. Mean Gene, how are you doing so far? Thank you, Mean Gene. So good work on the pedaling. How's the how the legs doing? Mostly the quads you're feeling right now. Quads, lower quads, upper quads. All quads, perfect. You know how to use your quads evenly, that's for sure. So try some foot pressure changes here, maybe to or foot angle changes to load the legs a little bit differently. JF and Brenda, how you guys doing? So just basically get into your hardest gear, guys. You might have some issues with the resistance on your trainers for the last minute here. So in 10 seconds, guys, we're going to be last minute 50 to 80 on the RPM. And it's going to be 100%. So here we go, guys. So last minute, while you're doing this minute, think about your RPE. Think about your level of effort. Because then I'm going to ask you guys to contrast your level of effort when we do the second 10-minute exercise. So Trophy Wife, how you... Sorry, Cyril. Oh, yeah? Okay, so hold on that point, Cyril. So let's keep it up. Mean Gene, how much time is left on your timer? 15 seconds, okay. And Sting, how much time is left on your timer? All right, guys, and that's it. Okay, so take a little break. So, Cyril, what you might have to do, so you seem to be out of sync on the time. So you might have to put it on pause. So right at the start of the next 40-second effort, so the 40 seconds at 75%, put it on pause, and then I'll tell you when to unpause it. All right, guys, great. So Trophy Wife, how did that go? Could you unmute your? It went well. So good level of effort throughout the legs. Excellent. And Sting, how about you? How'd that go? Oh wow! So so that comes back to that idea of, in order to, if you go up by 8%, it requires about 4 RPM. So you're seeing 1 or 2 RPM per 2%. So it goes right with that. So that means your bike trainer is well calibrated. So that's a good sign. So way to be, Sting. And Miss Piggy and Professor, how'd that drill go for you guys? I can't unmute you again, Miss Piggy. And how about you, Miss Piggy? Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see. This next drill might take your breath away even more. We'll see. Okay, guys. So let's quickly go over our next drill. So our next drill, our base power and cadence, is 75 RPM, 75%, and about 95 to 100 RPM. So we'll say between 90 and 105. So on screen you can see it says 97.5 plus or minus 7.5. So between 90 and 105 on the RPM. So you're going to do that for 40 seconds multiple times. But we also have surges to 120%. And here's the idea. So the surges, the first one is 10 seconds, then it's 20 seconds, then it's 30 seconds, then it's 40 seconds. So there's 4 surges. Each one gets a little bit longer. But when you guys surge from 75% to 120%, do not change your gears. Stay in the same gear that you're in, so that way you have to increase the power only by increasing your RPM. So during this base power, and Cyril, get ready. You're going to unpause your screen in 10 seconds. Okay, perfect. So get ready, guys. So everybody go to 75%. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So let's go to 75%. And look at the cadence, about 90 to 105. So JF and Brenda right now will be riding at like a 6 on 10 effort at a moderate cadence, maybe slightly higher than you guys are used to. And then during the surges, JF and Brenda bring it up to like an 8.5 at a 10 effort. Okay, so once everybody gets dialed in on that cadence, so challenge yourself here on the cadence, say 90, 95, 100 RPM. Don't change your gear, and let's just quickly spin it up to 120%. So start now. So pedal faster, bring that RPM up, bring that cadence up. Okay, so 100. You should be at least 100 on the RPM. Okay, and now let's ease it back down to 75%. And again, probably don't have to change your gears here. Just stay in that same gear. Slowly bring the power and the cadence down. And Cyril, are you back connected up on time? Okay. Okay, great. Next one, guys, we have a 20-second surge in the same way. JF, you want your RPM to be a little bit higher right now. We want everyone's RPM to still be pretty high, between 90 and 105. Now, don't change gears, okay? And now pedal faster to get to 120%. Okay, so pedal faster to get to 120%. And it's all about that working that slightly higher cadence. So you want to be at least 100 RPM. Some of you might be as high as 110 or 115 RPM. Now slowly ease the power and ease the cadence down. Okay, so you guys had a chance to do it twice for 10 seconds and for 20 seconds. Now the last two are a little bit tougher. You're going to be doing it for 30 seconds and then you're going to be doing it for 40 seconds. What I want you guys to do is just before you surge, I want you to compact your bodies. So you're going to tuck your bum a little bit, tuck your tail, slide forward on the saddle, draw your elbows inwards so that your body's in a more compact position, and then think about running over top of those pedals in order to get that power up. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do it for 30 seconds. So tuck a little bit, compact the body. Okay, start kicking forward, push down, sweep through the bottom. Use that entire range of motion of the pedal stroke. Add a high cadence. Yeah, well done, Big Nick. Keep that up, J-Train. Try to keep the upper body even steadier, J-Train. And you too, Trophy Wife. Steady it out. Good way to be, Jeff and Brenda. Nice work, Mean Gene. Keep it up, Sting. Keep it up, Martin. Good way to be, Cyril. You're back. All right, so we're almost there, guys. Couple more seconds. Now, and it's not rest, okay? It's active recovery, so let's ease it down to 75%. So ease it down to 75%. Okay, we're still pedaling a little bit on the fast side here. And we have one more surge. It's 40 seconds. And then after the surge, it's not recovery yet. Then we have another 40 seconds at 75%. Okay, so really challenge yourself here on the cadence. During the 40 seconds at 120%, try to get to 110, 115, 120 on the RPM. Okay, so everyone, compact your body, tuck the bum a bit, slide forward on the saddle, bring the elbows in, maybe drop the toes a bit. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. And start running over top of those pedals. We want to minimize the waste of the left and right transfer here. Good, yeah, way to be, Mean Gene. Maybe bend the elbows a touch, J-Train. Just get the, yeah, there you go, to keep it nice and steady. Well done, Jeff and Brenda. Super job, Miss Piggy Professor. Nice work, Trophy Wife, down on the drops. So keep it up, Sting. Keep it up, Cyril. And Martin, I think you're still there, but I've lost your video. If you can re-enable your video, then I could see you. So a couple more seconds, guys. But then it's not rest yet, okay? Keep pedaling fast. Keep pedaling fast, but slowly ease the power down to 75%. We're going to finish the 40 seconds with the 75% as opposed to recovery. Okay, so let's keep it going, guys. So 20 seconds like this, so still fast on the pedaling. Aim closer to that 105 on the RPM side of things here. And this is going to end up being 5 minutes of high RPM work in between the climbing. Oftentimes, if you have a long climb, then you have a long descent. which requires you to pedal a little bit faster than usual. So great simulation of those demands. So 3, 2, 1, and back it off, guys. Good. So well done. Great job on the cadence work. So good drill, guys. Good drill. JF and Brenda, great work. How'd you feel on that one, Brenda? You're definitely challenging yourself on the cadence. That's fantastic. And JF, really good work on the cadence as well. Good work on your body position. How did you feel, JF? Tougher? So great effort, guys. When it gets tough, you know, building some extra fitness. Trophy Wife, how'd you find that one? Tougher than the first? I really like how you were going down in the drops at that higher cadence to try to keep the body really steady. So that was great work, Trophy Wife. Way to be. And Mean Gene, how did you find that drill? Easier, harder, about the same compared to the first one? Okay, so you want it to go down more? Oh, yeah. Yeah. The honesty of Mean Gene. That's very honest of you, Mean Gene. And Big Nick and J-Train, how do you guys find that exercise? You're with Mean Gene? You would have preferred to stop pedaling in between. Yeah, exactly. Like when you're at a high cadence, if you run into trouble in order to sustain the power, just go a gear harder. It's always a good strategy. And Big Nick, how about you? How are you on the high cadence? Well done, Big Nick. I mean, it was 5 minutes total time there, and I'm sure you spent a majority of it over 105, so way to be. And Cyril, how'd you find that exercise with the cadence? Good, way to be, Cyril. Great pedaling at that higher cadence. Okay, guys, so now we got a 10-minute strength development exercise again. This time, it's going to average out to about 90% again, but instead of riding steady, we're going to be alternating 1 minute at 75%, 1 minute at 105%. So we're going to start off at 75%, but instead of high cadence like what we just did, we're going to be lower on the cadence. So let's say somewhere between 50 and 80. And make sure you guys stay sitting. And then the second minute, we're going to go up to 105%, and the goal is to stand for the entire minute. Okay, so we're going to be alternating. So some of you guys are excited, some of you guys maybe not. So let's go to 75% now. 50 to 80 on the RPM, all sitting. Then we're going to go to 105% standing. Then we go back to 75% again. And then the second time we go to 105%, you guys have to do it sitting. So we're going to be alternating. One of the 105% is going to be standing for the whole minute. And then the other 105% is going to be sitting the whole minute. And we're going to be doing that structure for the 10 minutes. So we'll see how you guys feel when you guys get to stand up here and go to 105%. Might make it feel easier, might make it feel a bit harder, but play around with your body position. When you guys are standing, there's multiple options that you have available to you. You can stand up with your hips further back, closer towards the saddle, with your hips further forward so your knees are closer to the bars. You can stand really upright with your arms more straight, or you can bend forward more and put your hands in the drops, or bend your elbows and tilt your upper body down a bit. Okay, so let's go up to 105%. So first things first, when you guys stand up, go to whatever tactic or standing strategy or position feels most natural. And then when it starts to get a little bit difficult, make a little adjustment to your body position. It might be pushing the hips forward, might be pushing the hips back, or it might be tilting the upper body more upright or tilting the upper body more down. If you change your hip position or if you change your upper body position, it changes the experience of pressure in your legs. So keep it up, Mean Gene. So have a seat for the rest of the way, Mean Gene. Let's make the principal objective the power. So Mean Gene, maybe just stand for the first 15 or 20 seconds of each of these standing segments, and then after that, focus on the power. Okay, so let's keep it up at the 105. And then we're going to go down to 75% for a minute. So 3, 2, 1, and down to 75%. Now still low on the cadence. Okay, so when you sit down, you're not going to have to go a ton of gears easier. You might have to go 1 or 2 gears easier. But normally, you'd go multiple gears easier, but we want to keep the cadence low. So we still want it to be a little bit of a grind here. Okay, so 75%, 50 to 80 on the RPM. And then we're going to be doing the 1 minute at 105% sitting. So you can think back to some of those tactics that I mentioned at the beginning of the workout. How are you going to approach this sitting? Are you going to sit on the back of the saddle, push forward and down on the pedals, working on your leg extension? Or are you going to sit on the front of the saddle, letting your weight and your strength push down onto the pedals? And you could put the pressure on the inside of the foot or on the outside of the foot. Those are little tactics you can play with. So let's give it a try. So 3, 2, 1, and up to 105%. And sitting on this one, Big Nick. So have a seat. Yeah, good. And now we're just looking for 50 to 80 on the RPM sitting at 105%. So I know a lot of you guys, especially standing riders, when we go to these higher powers sitting, your tendency is to go to higher cadence, which is a great tendency. But since we're trying to simulate climbing here, we're going to keep those RPMs low all the way. Okay, so let's keep it up, guys. So good power output. Definitely a difficult exercise sitting for those of you guys that like to stand. But some of you guys might even find this easier than the standing one if standing is not your thing. So keep it up, guys. Way to be, JF and Brenda. Great force down on the pedals. Keep that up, trophy wife. Okay, so a couple more seconds. And now gradually ease your watts down to 75%. So you want to keep the foot pressure as we go down to 75%. We don't want it to swing way below. And when you guys are riding at 75%, recovery doesn't come instantly. But over the course of the minute, maybe after 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you'll start to feel like you've regrouped a little bit, like you've recovered a little bit. That's actually your body regenerating energy, recycling some of the waste products from the last minute. That's going to prepare you for the next minute. Okay, guys, so now next minute, it's standing for the whole minute. Still 50 to 80 on the RPM. Mean Gene, stand for about the first 15 or 20 seconds, but then transition to sitting before your watts drop. Okay, so get ready, guys. We're going in 10 seconds. Try a slightly different standing tactic. Maybe try a more upright position standing. If you're standing in an upright position, you can also think about driving your knees up instead of just pushing down on the pedals. So here we go, guys. So standing up, try something a little bit different. You know, if you're always standing on the hoods, try standing in the drops. You know, if you're always really bent over when you stand up, try standing up more upright. If you stand up in a more upright position, there's more room for you to flex your hip. So that's the action of your knee lifting up. So you can think about lifting the knee up in addition to pushing down on the pedals. Gives a different feel in the legs. Alternatively, if you're always really upright on your standing, try bending over, pushing down deeper into the pedal stroke. So almost like you're kicking back on the pedals. So your body weight will push down on it from, say, 3 to 5 o'clock, and then from 5 to 7, you kind of kick back on the pedals. That's another interesting tactic. Good way to be, Big Nick. Keep that up. So good stuff, guys. Keep it up, Mean Gene. So we got a few more seconds. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's go to 75%. So have a seat, guys. Now keep that foot pressure. Be careful about dropping below the 75. If you guys think back to a workout we did a couple weeks ago, the workout was called Lactate Shuttle. The whole idea behind that workout was that your body actually gets a really good training adaptation at the lower power. The higher power creates fatigue, and then the lower power creates the training adaptation to teach your body to recycle and reuse waste products as energy. So you can think about that principle as part of this exercise here. And so the 75% become just as important as the 105s. All right, so next up, we have 105% again. This time it's sitting. So experiment with your sitting power output tactics. And we're going to keep that cadence low, still 50 to 80 on the RPM. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So up to 105, and I would encourage you guys to, once you find an RPM comfort zone, say you're at 75 RPM, it feels just right, go one gear harder. Work a little bit more on that strength piece. And when you're working on the strength piece, it'll force you to adjust your position on the bike or adjust the way that you push on the pedals. And you can think about that element as preparing you for steeper grades. Sometimes you hit a steeper pitch and you have no choice but to go down to some of those really low cadences. So good work, guys. Keep it up on that power output. Keep working that low cadence. Really try to get the strength of your body, the strength of your legs, I should say, and the weight of your body into every pedal stroke. So a couple more seconds, and then we're going to go to 75%. So 3, 2, 1, and now down to 75%. So it's the last time we're at 75% here. And then we're going to have 1 minute at 105% standing. So on this next one, Mean Gene, what I want you to try to do is stay sitting for the first 30 seconds and then try to stand for the entire last 30 seconds. And everybody else, do your best to stand for the entire minute. If somebody at home knows they can't stand for the entire minute, start sitting for the first 15 or 20 seconds and then stand up for the second half and force yourself to stay standing all the way till the end. And then you get a longer recovery period as your reward. Okay, so we're going to go in 15 seconds, guys. So it's the final standing segment of our 10-minute drill. It's also the final minute of our 10-minute drill. So really good endurance development thus far. So let's cap it off with a solid 105% standing. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go, guys. So up out of the saddle. Good, excellent work, guys. Get to that 105%, and then once you've settled in there, you can try a different position if it starts to get a little bit uncomfortable. Or if you're still feeling really good, you're still feeling really comfortable, what you could do in the last 30 seconds here is gradually increase the cadence bit by bit to increase that power. All right, so Mean Gene up out of the saddle the rest of the way. Trophy Wife up out of the saddle. Good, fantastic. Keep it up, JF and Brenda. Well done, Miss Piggy and Professor. Wow, J-Train and Big Nick, way to finish it off, guys. Sting, great work. Great position on the standing. Keep it up, Cyril. So we're almost there, guys. 10 more seconds. Let's bring it home. Everyone pedal a little faster in the gear you're in to resist the urge to slow down. Wow, great effort, J-Train. All right, guys, and back it off. So 3 minutes of recovery now. So there you go. That's the last long drill. All we have left now are some surges. So great exercise, guys. Well executed. So let's start with Sting. So Sting, did you find that one easier or harder than the first 10-minute effort? So I guess we could say the overall intensity was about the same for you. Like a true endurance athlete. Oh, so we had a technical hitch, but now we have Neil and Martin back in. Good, so I'm glad you guys are back in. Martin, you'll be ready for that final drill that's coming up. J-Train and Big Nick, how'd you guys find that second 10-minute effort? Tougher than the first one? And how about you, Big Nick? The first one was easier. So Big Nick and J-Train definitely time trial specialists. So it makes sense that you guys find the more progressive approach with less variability a little bit easier to pull off. And Miss Piggy and Professor, how'd you guys find that second effort? And do you agree, Miss Piggy? Okay, it's so interesting. So you guys can see, so we have some riders preferring the progressively increasing strategy and some riders preferring the variable strategy. So that just goes to show that you don't want to assume that riding steady or riding progressively is always the best. It might be the best for you, but if that strategy doesn't work for you, on a long climb, you could try techniques like this, alternating slightly higher power and slightly lower power. And again, more anaerobically oriented riders, if you know that you're a good sprinter, if you know that you have really good 30-second power, this more variable strategy works very well. Okay, guys, so now let's get ready for our next drill. So everyone, look at your power output. Get to about 50 or 60% watts. And get to about 80 or 90 on the RPM. So right now, so do it now because we're starting in 10 seconds. And we're going to do 40 seconds at 110% between 100 and 120 RPM. So I want you to spin your legs fast again here. Okay, so let's get that leg speed going. So we're going to bring it up to 110%, but we're going to do it via leg speed. So if your RPMs go over 120, definitely go into a harder gear, but make sure that you're always over 100 RPM. So between 100 and 120, working the leg speed on the surge. So in these last few surges that we're going to do, we're going to be alternating one of them at high cadence, one of them at low cadence, to bring together the two elements, the two pieces of our workout. So let's keep it up. 10 more seconds, guys. Keep working that cadence. And then you got a 40-second recovery. So Mean Gene and J-Train, you guys will be happy about that. Not an active recovery, a passive recovery, so you can take some pressure off the pedals and get some recovery. So nice work, guys. So now the second one that we're going to do it again at 110%. So the power output's the same. But now you want to do it 50 to 80 on the RPM. And I'm going to encourage you guys to try to do it sitting. So try to do it sitting. Some of you guys might run out of gears if you don't have enough resistance on your trainer, but just go to the lowest or go into the hardest gear to do it and try to stay sitting. So 40 seconds, 50 to 80 on the RPM. So 3, 2, 1, and let's bring it up, guys. So now it's more of a grinder here. So we're going to grind it away, but still at that 110%. So when the power is high and the cadence is low, it's usually helpful to get a bit forward on the bike, a bit forward on the saddle, and let your weight fall into the pedals to assist your legs with the effort. So good work, guys. Max RPM here is 80. If anyone sees 80, 81 RPM, go one gear harder and work the muscle strength. And you could just think to yourself, how do you feel at the high cadence versus the low cadence? Definitely different, very different types of efforts. All right, so let's back it off. So 40 seconds of recovery. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing again, except the power target is 120% instead of 110%. So we want to go 10% higher on the power. You can even go higher than 120% if you want. But the key thing is we're going to do it twice. The first time we're going to do it high cadence. The second time we're going to do it low cadence. And when we do the low cadence, you want to do it sitting, okay, to work on that strength. So everyone, get some momentum. Get to 50 or 60% watts. Okay, get to like 80 or 90 RPM. JF and Brenda, make sure you feel like you're overspinning for this entire next 40 seconds. And you too, Trophy Wife. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So get the legs spinning. So tuck your bum, slide forward on the saddle. Bring the elbows in just a little bit. Point the toes down a smidge. And use that whole range of motion of the pedal stroke to keep up to the pedals. And stabilize the upper body, Trophy Wife and J-Train. Kind of bend the elbows inwards a little bit to lock down the shoulders. Good. Yeah, great position, Martin. Keep that up. Way to be Sting. Well done, Mean Gene and Cyril. Great cadence, JF and Brenda. Way to be Miss Piggy, Professor. We're almost there, guys. Keep going, keep going. Resist the urge to slow down. Keep it up, J-Train. Wow, what an effort, J-Train. All right, and back it off, guys. So 40 seconds of recovery. Okay, so take the first 20 seconds or so to recoup, and then the second 20 seconds, get a little bit of momentum, so that way you have a bit of speed going into this next one. 40 seconds, 120%, 50 to 80 on the RPM. Okay, so look at your gauge now, guys, or look at your power output. Go to 50%, and let's go into a gear that's a bit too hard. You know, go to like 60 RPM, go to like 50 RPM, so you have to accelerate with strength. Okay, so get ready, guys. So 3, 2, 1, and 120%, 50 to 80 on the RPM. And JF and Brenda, just feel like you have a lot of resistance underneath those feet as you're driving. If you have a harder gear, JF, use it, but you might be out of gears at this point. Okay, so keep it up, guys. Good way to be, Martin. Great effort. Way to be, Sting. Sting working the strength. Big Nick and J-Train, great effort. Wow, Trophy Wife really working that low cadence. Keep it up, Professor and Miss Piggy. Way to be, Mean Gene. All the way, Mean Gene. All the way, guys. Pure strength development here. Very difficult. High power, low cadence sitting. So 3, 2, 1. And a little bit of recovery. So 40 seconds of recovery. Okay, guys, we have our last effort of the day. Our last effort of the day. The power target is 130%, but some of you guys might be able to go a bit higher than that. And we're going to do it with cadence. So for the last 40 seconds, let's go to the highest power and the highest cadence that you can to finish this workout with a bang. So everyone, get some momentum. Get into a gear that feels a little bit too easy. So when you accelerate, the cadence goes up very rapidly. Okay, so let's get ready. So tuck the bum. Slide forward a bit on the saddle. Pull those elbows in. Okay, point the toes down a bit and run over top of those pedals. Quick acceleration. Okay, kick forward, push down, sweep through the bottom. Compact the body so that there's a minimum of left and right sway here. Yeah, way to be, Martin. Way to be, Sting. That's a great compact position, Sting. Amazing. Keep it up, JF and Brenda. Way to be, J-Train. And just keep that upper body steady. Keep it up, Cyril. Okay, everyone, keep going. But I want you to pedal faster in the gear you're in. Just increase your cadence. Piston the legs a little bit quicker. Last few seconds, guys. Wow, way to be, Martin. What an effort. Keep it up, Sting. Keep it up, Trophy Wife. 3, 2, 1, and back it off. And that's it. Wow. What a way to finish off the session there, guys. So a couple progressive surges, contrasting the feeling of the high cadence surge with the low cadence surge with a big finish on the high cadence. Sarah, how'd you find that last 40 seconds? Yeah. Wow. Way to be, Cyril. Great work on that cadence at the end. Fantastic. Yeah. Pretty incredible power output, Cyril. You just keep getting in better and better shape. Maybe you'll be the one at 400 watts soon. So way to be, Cyril. And Martin, how did you find that final effort? Yeah. You did a great job controlling your body on that high cadence. Yeah, it did look a little bit wobbly. I guess you were working a little bit your cyclocross skills at the same time, you know, on that trainer, keeping the core tight. Yeah. Wow, so incredible job, Martin. Way to finish it up. So Sting, how'd you find the final drill? You know, so over time, you know, I said that about 3-4 times throughout the workout, eh, Sting? I'm really happy you got it at the end, Sting. I'm really happy you tried it. Visually, when I was seeing your position, it looked really good. There was definitely no waste, and all your power went into the pedals. So, super job, Sting. So, Trophy Wife, how'd you find that final exercise? Great finish, Trophy Wife. Really great cadence work. Your cadence has really improved over time. It's really nice to see. So keep up all that cadence work, Trophy Wife. Miss Piggy and Professor, how'd you guys find the last exercise? Oh, and how about you, Professor? I don't know about that. I don't know about that, Professor. But you know, you started with Power Watts like 7 or 8 years ago, eh? Yeah, not 2 years ago. Yeah, even more than that, believe it or not, Professor. So way to be, guys. So JF and Brenda, how'd you guys find that last drill? You overdid it, so now you're smoked. Well, you still put out a big effort there, JF, and I'm glad that you waited till the end to put in that big effort to croak early. You're definitely learning your anaerobic pacing a lot better over time. Hmm. And how about you, Brenda? Oh, that's really well done. I mean, to think that even a couple months ago you were riding all the time at like 70 to 80 RPM, and now here you are, well over 100 and pulling off the power outputs. Okay, but it's getting better, and I don't think you're ever gonna choose to go 120 or 110 RPM. But the fact you could do it is a huge improvement. So fantastic. So Mean Gene, how do you find the final drill? Did you enjoy yourself today, Mean Gene? Oh. Well, I'm so happy that you're here with us as well, Mean Gene, and Big Nick and J Train. How do you guys find the final surges? And how about you, Big Nick? Well, great efforts, guys. And J Train, don't beat yourself up if you found the 10-minute over under one the most challenging, because that's the one that is definitely the one that goes most against your strengths as a rider. So I'm glad you worked yourself through it, and you're going to gain some good fitness as a result. So thanks to everyone for joining in. So I'm gonna stick on Zoom for a bit extra, but I'm just gonna sign off on Facebook. So thanks to everybody on Facebook for joining in on our workout today. We worked the high cadence, we worked the low cadence, and we practiced some climbing, practiced maybe some simulated descending. So overall, lots of good stuff. Try to implement some of the strategies and the tactics on your outdoor ride since it's nice outside when you ride. Try these different tactics and see how it goes. So we'll be back Wednesday at 12 noon for the next Power Watts at Home live workout, and I look forward to seeing you guys then.